This video explains how to assemble the RGB lighting portion of the HolidayCoro HexaTree Jr. The HexaTree Jr. supports two different types of lighting. They support two RGB modules. These are rectangular in size and they're approximately 3 inches. They're mounted to locations as indicated by the holes, which also match up with the holes on the modules, and you simply just attach them using the double-sided tape or hot glue. Now, the example we're going to be using is 8mm. These are 8mm for the LED and 12mm for the base. Nodes, these are basic nodes or dumb nodes. So all the nodes will turn one color. Now we will be driving them using our HolidayCoro 3-channel DMX controller that has the built-in Cat5 connector. And this works with our signal and power over Cat5. So it allows you a simple plug-and-play Cat5 cabling system. We have additional information on our website. Okay, this is fairly simple. What we're going to do is first start off by just soldering the controller to the lights, and that's all we'll need to do. Now, if you're worried about soldering, don't worry about that. There are plenty of videos out on the web, and with almost all RGB items, you're going to need to do customization to get the lowest cost items. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take some dikes, and I'm going to strip off all 4 of those wires, and then I'm going to peel them back so we can solder them individually. You'll notice that they are color-coded, and there is a order to this. In this particular string, there is red, green, blue, and yellow. Now, almost all RGB lights will have a common positive, and these are 12 volts in this particular case. So what I'm going to do is take my soldering iron here, take some solder, and the first thing I'm going to do is just tin these wires just by putting a little bit of solder onto the connection. This will allow us to easily keep all the wires together, and it'll make it so that we don't have to install or apply solder when we go to attach them. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to cover those connections, and we're going to do that with some heat shrink tubing. This is the absolute best method for covering these wires. Now, we do not recommend at all the use of electrical tape. It has problems in the different temperature ranges, and it generally has a tendency to slide around, as where hot shrink tubing works perfectly. Okay, so I've put hot shrink tubing on all 4 of my wires before I solder them. And now all I'm going to do is simply just start matching up these wires. And in this particular case, and this varies again by controller and by lights, but in most cases, if you have red, it's going to match up to red. And if we have green, it's going to match up to green. Now you'll notice I'm not even having to put solder on this because the solder has already been applied onto the wires when we tinned it. And I'm simply just going to touch all 4 wires here. Sometimes it gets a little tricky when you get to those last ones there. They do make helping hand devices if you need them. Okay. You can see that they're now soldered. I'll just give them a big tug there to make sure everything is good and that they're all connected. Slide the hot shrink tubing over the top. I'm going to use just a torch here from Harbor Freight Tools. Give them a little bit of heat, and you can see that makes a nice, beautiful, waterproof, short-proof connection. Now, installing them, super simple. All we do, we turn our base over, and we take our nodes and just pop them into the 6. And you may have 3. If you have 3, you'll need to skip some. Pop them into these holes. Just like that. And in this particular case, I have gone ahead and applied double-sided tape. You can also use hot glue. That works excellent to attach these controllers. And all I'm going to do is just go down here and attach it to the base. And you can see now we have all of the modules and they're ready to go. So let's take a look at what that looks like once they've already been attached. Here we have our completed units. We have a unit with 6 RGB nodes, and then we also have the unit with our 2 RGB rectangle modules. Now, what we're going to do, go ahead, put the tops back on these units, and we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what they look like between the two and see the difference between rectangle and the RGB nodes. Here are the completed HexaTree Juniors. On the left, we have the HexaTree Junior with 6 RGB nodes, and then on the right, we have the unit with 2 RGB modules. It may be hard to see in this video, but they're very close in terms of the light output. The light output is generally better with the RGB modules. There's less burn towards the bottom. So down here, you'll notice that there's lights that are a little bit brighter. The rectangle module on the right seems to have better penetration at the top here, at the very top of the cone. And another advantage of the rectangle module is it has less bleed into the base. So, that is the HolidayCoro HexaTree Jr.